3, 2, 1. That's a pretty good clap.
Mm-hmm.
You liked it?
Better than the last episode.
I don't know. You don't look too convincing.
No, I'm just used to it now.
I don't know. Okay.
You need to do something else.
I'm feeling. Is it like what do I need? Like whistle.
Surprise me.
Thank you for joining,
Good to be here.
Hassan. It's been a long time, man. Seen you last.
It's been a while, man. And we shouldn't do this. We shouldn't say it's been a while, you know.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. But I mean, with everything going on.
Yeah, the environment's been a little bit dramatic, hasn't it?
It's been a bit crazy, but I'm one of those people that I found the silver lining, you know. And,
Absolutely.
You know, I think all families sort of got better or closer, for better or
Definitely.
worse,
Definitely.
but a lot closer. I started, you know, connecting much deeper with the kids. So there's a lot of silver lining, you know, of just making something good out of it. I played hell of a lot of music, so I don't know if that's a good thing for the world, but for me,
It's a good thing. That's it.
Yeah, man, I'm sitting at home and, you know, whatever, how many movies, but music for me was the savior, you know.
Definitely. It's almost like we took a time out.
A collective timeout, the whole world.
At the same time, right? Yeah.
Hindsight, right? At the beginning of it, we're stressed, but
Yeah, look, we spoke about this a couple of times where I think some people did well to be productive and found good outlets for themselves, develop themselves. And I think some people maybe not so much so.
For us, I mean, I like the new pace. I just think there was just so much travel before, you know,
True.
and just life, things, you know, we just had to do things really. I had to fly to get to that meeting. Now you can have serious meetings on whichever platform, you know, of the day that, you know, for that meeting. So
do you feel it's as effective though? You don't think we lost a little bit in the personal touch of being face to face with someone?
I think it's more effective now. You know, I'm not flying around. I'm spending more time with the family, but I can have a serious meeting in Bahrain with, you know, pretty high level sort of meetings, you know. And before, people thought it was disrespect, like, you know, like now it's like, no, in fact, thank you. Yeah, we keep doing it like that. So I think we're a lot more productive. Personally, at home, I think we're going to try to do more of this, you know, less travel, more sort of staying at home. A lot of people, and we're sort of thinking about it, but, you know, just making home the nest, more of a nest, you know, like working out at home, all of that, you know.
yeah.
So
I think it depends what industry you're in. I was listening to, reading something the other day about Netflix. The CEO, I believe he said, the moment this vaccine is out there, within 12 hours, everybody's coming back to the office. Because their culture is more of creativity is better when people are around each other. Because Netflix is more of a creative company. Twitter, on the other hand, they're indefinitely working from home.
yeah,
They're in fact leasing their office space.
yeah.
Subleasing.
I think it's easy to say it'll be this extreme or this extreme. I think it'll be a little bit of in the middle, you know. So we will go back to the office. I think that's what we're going to have to. But there will be more options to sort of do these meetings, you know. For example, for us in retail, we feel too much time in the office for the head management. No, we want management more in stores, you know. So you don't need now that much office space. So we've downsized. But it's affected everybody differently. But just from a personal point of view, I've liked the new pace, you know.
Now, you brought it up, and how do you feel like this has affected retail? Like, I'm super intrigued, obviously, with someone like you and how deep you guys are. So you're pretty much the largest retailer in the region. How have you seen that? And do you expect some shifts in the way that you guys do business or how business is conducted? Has it changed?
Well, I mean, I have to say, for us particularly, it's very good to have the partnership we have. We have a 47-year-old partnership, and I think just the guys are always ahead and are always trying to think forward, you know. So very proactive. With us, and then it obviously everybody benefits.
Yeah.
We've definitely changed. At the beginning, everybody was like, "Retail's dead. Retail's dead." Retail just changed, man.
Yeah.
Overnight.
You adapt.
We realized we didn't need that much office space, or that many people, because so that changed for us, particularly in Bahrain, but throughout. Online went up big time.
Yeah.
And I'm talking over 100%, over 200% in some areas, and much more in other areas. So we had to adapt. Warehousing, we needed more desks to take calls, things like that.
Interesting.
You have to get now the product for whoever's clicking. You got to get it to them under a week, under 5 days, all of that stuff. So just having great partners, great leadership within the business, and just being able to communicate well, adjust very quickly, that I think helped us out a lot. But we've definitely seen a shift. We've downsized in some big areas in Bahrain. We feel when we've closed certain areas, we've seen the shift into other malls. People can click and pick. They can just come and pick it up. They don't even So some trends are changing. But another thing, for example, that I found funny is everybody. Let's not go out on the weekend. Let's go during the weekday. Everybody was doing that, so numbers during the week went up, and
but it compensated. One compensated for the other.
Yeah.
But for me, what's really interesting for all of this is just, are these trends gonna be something that's just part of this cycle, and then once the vaccine is out and you think everyone's just gonna forget about it and go back to the old ways, or you think people just sustain on I always think about that. Me and my wife, we sit and we talk about what is going to change if tomorrow this doesn't exist, right? Are we going to be back to normal, just go out or is it now a lot of these things that we've made part of our usual cycle now, will these be the things that are going to continue forward?
I think some habits will stay, about being able to order online, and it's easier.
Yeah.
It's a lot more efficient from our end as well. It's and very clearly more profitable as well, because you're going direct from the warehouse.
Yeah.
But people love to shop. Yeah. People love to look at things. If you're buying a sofa, you want to sit on it. If you got a pair of jeans or a t-shirt, basics that your size, fine, just sort of put it on and that can come. But people love to go out. Yeah. Now, if you had 20 stores in a territory, you might need 10. Okay, and you probably make as much or more, profitability,
Interesting.
Man, because you just don't need all of those sort of people who, the less is more. That's what's happening right now. And that's what's going to balance it out. You're going to have more traffic in sort of less areas, less numbers, and online, I think, is also going to keep on going. I hope that works, but yeah, we'll see.
So do you think once you go to the online way of doing things, where you're more front loaded on the online versus offline, is it more profitable for a retailer to be that, with having the other integrators and the aggregators to take your product and deliver it and market it and sell it? Is it more profitable at the end versus the traditional that we used to know before COVID?
I think bottom line, yes. At the end of the day, you need to go through certain growth, certain size, but after a certain size, yes, it's
economies of scale.
Yeah, man, it's just more profitable. You will need certain stores in malls, your key stores and stuff. However, when a product comes and it's sitting in the warehouse and somebody's bought that just needs to go onto a van and to that house within, as soon as time as possible. And that's just more profitable. It's just, and I
Definitely,
think, so
makes sense.
The thing is you don't want to then say, well, close all the stores, and then just do this, because this is what we've built over, the 50 years. And most retailers, this is what we've done. So it's about adapting and then taking it day by day, and then as it shifts, you got to shift with it. Try to stay ahead of the curve. And at the end of the day, you need good products, that's what people are coming for, and do what you're good at. And for us, we know what we do. The people that are sales, management know what we do, and the customers love what we do. For 47 years, it's homegrown. It's all GCC. That's where it started.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, that's where it's at. It's the product, man. If you've got good product and we know what we do, for us, it's fashion value.
Yeah.
Value furniture. And that's what brings people in. It's good service. So whether they're clicking or coming to one of the stores, we just try to make sure that the product is right.
Yeah.
And that's that's I think one of the hardest things.
And so you said something, because obviously you're a very dynamic person, right? You do a lot of different things. And you brought up the whole thing of Netflix and being creative. So Hassan, you do HBR, you do your music thing.
Yeah.
Has your creative process changed now in the way that you're creating your music, or you're collaborating in creating your music, now that you've lost that element of maybe the connection or being around some of the supporting?
What's great now is everybody's looking for live music, sort of fresh stuff online, and you could be watching Dave Matthews one day, and then you could be watching, sort of the musicians that I love in Bahrain, or the local scene here. And in a way, that's a new door. You take something closes, there's something new.
Yeah.
Spotify, you mentioned Spotify. Back when the 90s, release an album, it's a CD. You go, you open that, and it's a thing.
It's an experience.
You need 12 songs, 10 songs. Now, people just want one song.
Bite size.
Yeah. So you can record a whole album and release a song a month, or just say, I'm going to record a song a month. So it's not that much pressure, because I grew up in the 80s, 90s, when I love albums, so when I write, I like to do sort of a theme and I go with it. But because of how Spotify is right now, it's changed. Then you just do one at a time. So like, if you ask me what I want to do now, to help spread the music, spread the new tunes I'm having, a little recording where I just put up a mic, a good recording and release it, and just simple things like that, man. And then you can even go into a studio and just do one song, which would take you a day to record, release it, master it, release it.
Yeah.
So much, there's so little pressure.
It was Apple that started that, right?
In terms of breaking the albums down,
pushing artists to start.
When they did the whole iTunes, I think they broke the system, right, of the album, the importance of the distributor, that middleman. They cut out a lot of people. Just less albums are being sold now. Do
you think it's better now that it's bite size, or
do
you miss the experience of the album? Like, you get super excited, like heavy metal, rap, any type of genre.
Yeah.
When they produce an album, you want to open the album, read everything inside of it. You want to feel the experience.
Man, are you into Pearl Jam? Anybody?
Yes,
of course. The new album, just amazing. I mean, their new album, that was an experience. They were releasing it one tune at a time, and but I want to get into that. They printed it on a certain paper, great. But like Post Malone has a new song. One song, and it's hot and it's sort of, it feels good and you want to just play it when you're chilling. Then I'm into that, just the one song. So what's good about today is that you just got so much choice, so much selection.
True.
And why not, and if you're into that, Pearl Jam, want my album. But then there's new stuff. And when I was coming, for example, I love listening to tunes with no lyrics sometimes, because so jazz hop is an incredible genre. And all I could describe it, it's like hip hop without the rap.
So it's just the beats.
Man.
Cool.
And they'll just be like a one-liner, And I love that choice. And maybe on the way back, I want to listen to Pink Floyd. Boom. And you got Floyd playing. So
I think that's the big. I remember when you used to have like 20 CDs in the car, and every time you want to switch songs, you gotta or you get, obviously eventually they had the what do you call them? the ones that had like 6 in the car or 8 in the car.
CD changer?
CD changers. I was like, I don't even remember what it's called anymore. Right? You have to have the CD changer. You sit there clicking and like.
And it would like,
Yeah,
and that's, oh
exactly.
man, so it's 2 years old.
That's it. And it was in the glove box, remember? You had to like slap on all the CDs and you forget which CD is what.
Yeah,
And kids nowadays, they got it easy, man.
they're
just got
lucky.
it easy.
Yeah, too
Yeah.
easy. Well, I'm saying, يعني, for me, it was also tapes.
True.
And you know, and
Putting the pencil inside and trying to fix the
when
tape.
it gets busted up.
Yeah, man. You know, now they put that picture. Kids will never get this. They put a picture of a tape and a pencil. It's like, yeah, man.
It works.
Exactly.
We had issues. And that's how you fixed it. You know?
So are you creating new music now? Are you putting out or creating new songs?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's probably the most sort of music I've had at one go that hasn't been recorded and released. So I'm sort of sitting on so much new music. An interesting story happened. I wrote a song called Band in the USA. Anybody who grew up in the 80s or 90s, probably not the song, but it's an interesting song, and it was sort of inspired by the Black Lives Matter and all of that. And, you know, I mean, I said it very simply, but it's such an incredibly difficult moment, you know, for the States. But there's a polar opposites that are like, well, nothing's going on, you know, and it's just crazy to see it. I actually feel pretty sad and sorry for the States to see them go through this, and it's a strange way to look at America.
Mm-hmm.
Or America, man, they need to get their stuff together.
Yeah.
But they used to do that to the rest of the world, you know,
True.
when they were doing good things, you know. But all of a sudden, when I posted that song, people sort of reached out to me in a negative way. And look, it's their right to do it. I'm not going to take it personally. I'll put it out there, bring it on. But they started banning me on Facebook. Seriously.
Oh, you got canceled?
Yeah, I couldn't boost. And then you know, they wouldn't let me post. And so for 2 weeks, I was like, look, and somebody helps me do things online. Tommy Rocket, you know, his real name.
Tommy Rocket? Get out of here.
Yeah, man, it's in his passport. He's amazing. Tommy Rocket.
Shout out to Tommy Rocket. Shout out to
Rocket. He, but man, and he worked on it, and we finally got an apology. Like, sorry, we had no, you know. So what I like is that, you know, not only am I writing, but because of how the world is, you know, to get that reaction, just sitting in my living room, writing a new tune, you know, because you were moved by something that meant something to you, and then you write it, post it, and you get that reaction. You know, it's you know, so you know, that's what you used to get in the live shows, and then all of a sudden it's coming, and it's coming through people, and then this massive corporation that's stopped you.
What a trip!
Yeah, man.
Cancel culture. We were talking about that. I don't know how I feel about that. This whole thing of like, I get it. You have to be like, I'm not saying go out and say racist things and sit and try to ignite people and trigger people for the sake of triggering people. But at the end of the day, like, it's become ridiculous, I think.
You know what's crazy is that it goes against everything that's American, which is the freedom of speech. You know, it's as long as you're not, for example, comedy. Comedy is one of the things that you should be able to say pretty much everything on the fringe. You know, that's the only place where you can push the envelope without insulting somebody. And now they're pulling people out of the woodworks, things that they've said 10 years ago. They're coming back and haunting them and saying, oh, you said this about these people.
Cleese he said college campuses, they're like just telling me not to go because you're going to offend. That's the word. You're offended. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, what am I on about? I'm offended with. I'm offended with many things. Yeah. But just get on with it, you know? I've learned to now just understand there's just people who completely believe in the opposite thing that I do.
This is it.
And I'm no longer going to get that upset that he thinks that way, you know? But to not be, as a comedian, to not be able to go to a show and say your things and then somebody says, well, I'm offended. Well, you're in my show.
Yeah.
It's a comedy show.
And it's comedy.
It's like
comedy. It's jokes. He's saying jokes. That's the whole point of it, right? Like it's a joke, right? Yeah. But it's like they're moving the goalposts. And we were talking about this the other day, right? Like what was acceptable 20 years ago has now become a little less acceptable. So that's how they're doing this reverse or looking back cancel. Like 20 years ago was acceptable, right? So to sit and, hold someone responsible or accountable for something that you said, like you may push something 20 years ago that was on the fringe, and now the fringes have changed. They've moved the goalpost. That's no longer acceptable. But to sit and cancel someone today for something they said 10 years ago is just ludicrous. Like, it's just insane.
Yeah, man. And, it's just relentless because it's just played over and over and over, whatever it is that that person has said. So I just think if you believe in it, man, go for it. And if at the end you're, I don't know, a racist, whatever, then your colors are going to show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as long as you're not hurting anybody,
Yeah, as long as you're not igniting violence, you're not telling people to go on the streets and that's it, right?
Man, go for it.
I don't know. I feel sorry for the kids these days, man, because they're held so accountable for everything that they say. Like, imagine, like, when I was a teenager, pre-internet, pre-posting, the nonsense, that came out of my mouth and the behavior that I did. Like, that was just the experience of a child learning and becoming an adult and experiencing. Now they're held accountable. Is that, like, I feel bad for them. That must suck. Seriously, that must suck. Like, everything that you're doing is out there. That's it. And it's there permanently. Employers are looking at it. That's the way they're judging you now. Like, you're no longer just you submit a CV. They look at your name. They go on your Facebook, your Insta, your LinkedIn. They see everything about you. They kind of fact check everything. It's not fair, man.
No.
There's gotta be a line or something that kind of supports that. Or,
man, go for it. Yeah, no filtered. Like if I just think it's these days you just got to be yourself, and I think people just got to be open-minded about it. And if you don't want people to know about it, don't post, Yeah,
Sure.
I keep saying, thank God they didn't have YouTube, TikTok when I was young. I mean, we would have, God knows,
Well, imagine.
Yeah.
Imagine.
So, but it's there right now, and people who use it positively, they do, I've been a certain way my whole life, I don't regret anything you do. If you do it, khalas, just go for it.
Yeah.
And if there's a camera, then just make sure you really believe
what you're saying,
what you're doing, man.
Speaking of that, how did you guys meet?
Oh, we met. When was it? 2005, 2006?
Is that something you guys?
By the way, I remember the first time we met. If you remember the first time we met.
Yeah, I do.
You do? Okay.
It's one of those classic stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it.
I'll leave that for you.
Kind of put you guys on the spot.
Yeah.
It was an interesting night. It was the first time I met Hassan. I was in Bahrain, and it was an interesting night to say the least. So we had some beverages. We went somewhere. Something happened. And then we continued. And it was just fun.
Could have been a movie.
I'm only asking just to give context to people because
we've known each other now for 15 years. So I moved to Bahrain in 2005. And my business partner is a very good friend of Hassan.
One of my best friends.
Yusuf Fakhra. Shout out to Yusuf. There's another shout out going out.
Yeah.
We got introduced and just
hit it off from the get-go. That's amazing.
From the start.
Sort of like how we met. Day one, we hit it off.
And we had a funny story as well.
Not something that we can share on. We could.
I don't have.
We're teenagers.
Yeah, we're teenagers. So what was it? You were at a friend's house, at Ahmed Habib's house.
Yeah. Rainy night.
You needed to drive home.
Yeah.
My brother and myself.
So this is when I first arrived in Canada. It's 94, 95-ish. Get in the back of their car. They're like, yeah, we'll drive you, you're close to where we live. I just met these guys, him and his brother, Laith, the other Laith. Shout out to Laith.
Yeah. Lots of shout outs today, man. We're doing lots of shout outs.
And somebody cut Laith off.
Yeah.
That's what it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, when you're 16, 17 years old, you get all hyped up. Like,
oh, yeah.
Raging
this
testosterone.
Guy. Let's go get him. And they're like,
course.
whoa, this guy's...
He's cool.
He's ride or die. Let's do it.
So we went with we didn't do anything.
We didn't do anything.
We just kind of harassed him, scared him off, and then...
Sort of shouted through the window. And
that kind of stuff.
Well, Yeah. No, I mean, it was 15 years ago, huh?
Unbelievable when you think about that, right?
Yeah.
2005.
Wow. And you were in 95. So
95.
10 years before, 25.
25 years
25,
ago.
yeah.
So
Okay.
kids,
Yeah.
were literally children.
Barely have a beard at the time. Peach fuzz.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. We're talking about, so again, I'm going to pull it back on Hassan now. We're talking about dynamic, doing different things. You do something that I have a massive phobia of.
Oh, man.
Right?
We got to.
Oh, I think I know what you're
We
going to
gotta
talk
fix
about.
this.
Horses?
Yeah,
Fuck
man.
me. Fuck me. Honestly, man, fuck me. Fuck horses. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm swearing about horses, but it's a phobia.
Have you seen him around horses, or have you just heard of him talking about it?
We've talked about it. And I mean, I think if you come to the polo club with me once, the Dubai Polo Club, it's you'll just love it. Kids are there, little ponies, there's a coffee shop, and man, horses are
That's exactly.
they have a calming effect. They're therapeutic, right? What happened to you? Did a horse?
Nothing.
Did you try to give a horse a carrot?
No, there's no
And it
incident.
bit your hand off.
There's never been an incident, at least one that I can remember. But it's just, I don't know.
Did you watch a movie when you were younger?
I just don't feel comfortable. Look, they messed with Christopher Reeve, so they fucked with Superman.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
not cool.
All right. I can,
And then
I can see that.
by the way, Hassan, you had a serious accident.
Man, I've got 4 titanium plates in my head. So it is a dangerous sport,
There you go.
What
but
did you-
I ride every morning.
Did you put the horse in a headlock?
Man, he put me in a headlock.
Who tapped out first?
I think I was just trying to get to the top too soon. And I was tired that day, but no excuses. I was competing. It was a little mistake. And when you make a little mistake, big things can happen. So I fell, both hoofs hit me right here. I was sort of on my back, and he was trying to jump me, the horse, and he just hit me right there. So he broke this part of the skull and this part of the skull. It was a big thing in the hospital. My eye went down just a little bit and went in a little bit. And they had to restructure my whole skull to make sure that, I could reach for Superman over here, So it was incredibly difficult, but thank God, I could see.
Wow.
And start
Were you
riding.
racing or
I was competing, jumping.
jumping?
Yeah. And it was a fast horse. It was too much quality for me at the time. I feel I was going very quickly. So now, I have a huge respect for the sport. I still ride every day, but I've approached it in a different way. And I've just connected so well with the horses now. All the horses I've had since foal. I've raised them since they were born. They grow up in Europe until they're 4 or 5, and then they come here, and basically we take them all the way. My oldest is 8 now. And I could keep talking for hours and hours and hours. So, but yeah, I ride every day, and it is a dangerous sport. And we got to get you to the polo club.
I can't even watch. We have a family friend that has stables.
Mandara.
Mandara.
Have you heard of Mandara?
Yeah,
Mandara.
It's my uncle's
It's
place.
his uncle's place.
Faisal.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Faisal,
Yeah.
So it's his uncle.
That's my uncle.
Oh, wow.
So we go there. I can't even watch the kids ride the little ponies. It stresses me out. So my wife will send me videos of the kids. I'll sit in the coffee shop, and I can't even see that. That's how stressed out I get.
Wow, man. I mean, horses are used for people like in therapy.
True.
And I think, and this is going to sound a bit weird, but they're a bit, this is not going to help, but they're a bit like dragons.
Great. Thanks.
But they don't breathe fire. If you see kids react to horses when they first connect, they sort of look at this thing and they're like, oh
It's a
my
beast.
God, this thing's going to fly. It's going to breathe fire, But dogs are like a Chihuahua or like a Labrador. All they want to do is sort of come up. Oh, hi, it's you, and we want to, you give them carrots and that's it. So we have a person that comes to our stable, and when they finish riding, the horses can hear that person walk down and she's going to give them carrots. And they just start going nuts like little puppies, And when you see that kid connect with a horse, it's like Dungeons and Dragons or whatever. It's like a dream, like connecting with a dragon. And there's something beautiful about that. then being able to sit on that thing and gallop. Like today is the beginning of the week for me for the horses, like a gym week, let's say. So the first day I'm cardio and I just gallop them around the track. And sometimes they think the lawnmower is a monster and there's another dragon coming out of that. So you just got to be careful. But nicest feeling in the world, just to gallop around in the morning. Beautiful.
I've never been on a horse.
Good.
I'd love to.
But your uncle,
Yeah, I just never got into it. It's just something that I'd love to. I love like they're such majestic animals. They're gorgeous. I just have to start doing it. It's just not you can't just go and sit on a horse and start riding.
No, it's a lifestyle, and my wife will tell you as well. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah. Does it require physical? Like, is it like a cardio exercise?
Yeah.
Are you beat up after?
Oh yeah. Like I'll lose a kilo, sometimes 2, when I go ride between 6 and 9 because of the heat. So if I weigh myself and weigh when I come back, I'm a kilo and a half down.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a lot of work. A lot of people think, horses do all the work. They do a lot of work, but you also have to be working, especially when you're competing at the highest level. You're doing a lot of dressage, which is your whole body.
Yeah.
Kind of like a drummer or limbs. So working.
Do you still compete? Are you still doing the competition?
Yeah, man. World ranked. And we've got goals. We've got the best rider in Bahrain, I think at the moment, is Khalid Bouhlal. Abdurrahman. Yeah, man. He's awesome. Shout out to Abdurrahman. I think me and him have a goal that we want to win medals for Bahrain. He's won so much on the Grand Prix level. In the beginning, I think I felt we motivated each other, and it was like this, and then Khalid, he just shot because he does it full on, and he does racing, he does endurance, and he also is a vet, self-taught vet.
Oh, wow.
So for Bahrain, we're trying to win medals, man. We just want medals. The UAE has an incredible program, great coach, Khalid Eid, and amazing riders. If I name them all, we won't have time. The whole scene here for riding is great. We've got the best riders in the world flying out, usually during winter, for a good 2-3 month period. Great for the economy as well. And a lot of shows that are sort of broadcast over Europe and sometimes even beyond. So yeah, man. That from a professional point of view, they're great. But from just therapeutic,
let it go. I don't trust them. I really don't.
Man,
all due respect, I don't trust them.
You're not the first person to say that. I'm like, what? First of all, they're in a stall, so you can't do anything. Where and as I said, they're like Labradors.
They're like Labradors, but they're like dragons. You say dragons.
Well,
you're not helping my cause, man.
Man, but for a kid.
I would say I wouldn't say I don't trust I wouldn't trust a tiger or a lion or a wild beast.
I would rather be in touching distance of a tiger.
No way.
Than I'm telling you,
he's told me this before. I can't believe it.
I'm serious. Like serious, all out, like for sure.
Is that because you're wearing a tiger shirt?
Yeah, I'm like, but yeah, no, for sure. Like I just, I wouldn't mess with that, man.
Well, look, if ever you get,
I'll take you. You'll be without a doubt. That goes without saying. You'll be the first person that I will definitely let you know if for some reason God graces me with me overcoming this phobia of mine. I'm so in.
Man, I've got the horse that you can sit on. He's bomb-proof. We'll walk you around, and you'll feel you've accomplished that. This, you've gotten over this fear, man.
Just fishing, I'm into.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Fishing any time of the day.
It's been too long.
It has been too long.
The last time we went fishing, you caught a hell of a lot of fish, right?
Yeah, I caught a couple.
You caught a couple.
Yeah, I caught a couple. Not a hell of a lot, but it's okay.
It sounded.
You know what I realized when we were fishing? I didn't even know this. Barracudas will eat other barracudas. They're like cannibalistic, right? So remember we were like, I don't know who it was, whether you or someone else that was pulling it up, and then a barracuda came and like halved it on its way up.
Yeah, big guy.
They go through the reel as well, right?
Yes, if once they pass a certain size.
Yeah.
So then you got to have certain lead down for them. So, but there's so much fish out there, man. We get shari. I go after the shari. I come out of the palm. I go to a few wrecks where we went.
Yeah, exactly.
And we just sort of, if there's fish here, we'll stay on them. If If it goes cold, we'll go to the next one.
Yeah.
And then,
But you do the canoeing stuff as well, right? Where you go out.
exactly. I love going out in the canoe on a kayak.
Yeah.
It's called a Hobie. I'm a huge fan of this brand, the Hobie. They're great kayaks. They've got new ones out now at Adventure HQ. And
They're double, right?
you can get a double one, but you get standard where they're just pedal. So you pedal and you steer,
Cool.
right? And you can keep your rods here. You can put a fish finder, or you can also add an engine, a Torpedo is the one I use.
Oh, wow.
And you've got batteries that they'll last 2-3 hours. So I go out of the Palm, I go next to Atlantis from the inside, and you get sea bream there. But man, yeah, sea bream, shari.
What's shari in English?
Like a snapper.
Snapper.
Yeah, you can get red snappers just straight up.
I think that's what I
snapper.
caught. Was that red snapper? Yeah,
They're
that's
great
the one.
to eat.
You know, it's funny. Hassan told me the trick of, when people take pictures with the fish. So so I'm taking a
Trade
picture. I'm
secrets,
taking a picture of the fish. Hassan's like, no, that's not how you do it. Put it close.
So it looks bigger.
Yeah, man. You got to bring it up
Yeah, exactly.
and then bring it a bit down, and then it looks.
You got to do the one hand too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, he made it look like twice the size. So when I posted it, I was like, it looks massive. But
Before I moved back to the UAE, I used to live in Doha for about 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I used to go with a friend of mine. He's an avid spearfisher.
Oh yeah.
So we'd go on a kayak. So it's the channel between Bahrain and Qatar.
Okay.
That very tip of Qatar.
Yeah.
We'd go off-roading to an area where during the tide you can drive,
Mhm.
but then the tide comes in and you can't come back, and you're stuck there until the tide is off.
Oh yeah.
And we'd go spearfishing. It was amazing. We used to get hamor.
Yeah.
Most of the fish there was hamor.
They're apparently very easy. I've never done it, so it's easy sitting here going, it's very easy to catch a homo. But
Yeah, because they don't move. They just sit there.
yeah, but I've been invited a few times. I don't know why. I just didn't feel like I was gonna, I always came up with an excuse. No.
what is it like? The you don't want to
No.
go
It's a
to the? Oh, it's a gun. Okay.
And the thing is you have to literally go right up to the thing, like,
Yeah.
and then from that far apart.
That
Oh,
part is
wow.
the easy part, but so you wear weights to
Yeah.
weigh you down.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath and just go down. That part is the difficult part for me. That's the part where I felt kind of claustrophobic, because I can do it in a pool because I know I'm in a pool. It's a controlled area. But when you're sitting in the middle of the water and like,
Slowly sinking with
wait,
the
is
weight.
there a shark gonna come and bite
And
my
then,
ass?
and then you hit it and it's bleeding, right?
You hit it and it goes.
Yeah.
And then you just hold on to the thing and swim up.
Yeah, but there's a little bit of
Blood.
and sharks.
Of
that's
course.
what they
Come-
smell.
of
And you're
course.
like, "God, can they smell from 10 kilometers or 100 kilometers away?
Yeah.
Where's
Yeah.
the boat, man?
Well-
That's why I've never done surfing. It always looks great surfing. It's the sharks.
It's the most difficult thing. Golf is the most technical sport I've ever played in terms of trying to hit a ball straight.
Okay. Yeah.
Surfing is the most. I almost died.
Huh.
Literally.
Oh man, because of going down.
Stupid me. I go to Rio.
Oh,
I see these 16, 13-year-old kids like spiders on waves. They're catching every wave. And these waves are not huge, say 6 feet, 4 feet. So I'm like, okay, grab
I'm
a big
gonna do
board. It literally took me 40 minutes just to cross the wave. So you can position yourself facing the beach, because you're going against the waves, and these waves are smashing you. So I'm sitting there, I'm just trying to follow these guys, see what they're doing, watched a couple of YouTube videos, thinking I can surf.
Mhm.
Caught one wave, fell down. When I fell down, I got
In the wash.
Tumble.
in the wash.
exactly.
I got so disoriented in terms of what's up and down. I'm trying to swim up, and I hit the ground.
That's what they say. And then
I come back up, gasping for air. Another wave hits me.
oh man.
I'm not lying. I was crawling out of the beach, and the surfboard was like maybe
20 feet away.
20, 30 meters away from me. Like it snapped,
Wow.
snapped. Like never again. If I'm going to try this, it has to be with a professional,
Yeah, get lessons.
like a
and
trainer.
stuff.
Yeah. But the surfers will tell you, when you catch that surf and do it, there's nothing like it. It's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it behind a boat,
Mm.
but I've always, I think, as you just said, if you catch a wave, that's going to be it. Like when you hit that first golf ball, and it goes 200 yards or whatever it is. But the sharks just don't make it appealing.
Yeah.
Like if I go to South Africa, I was once in South Africa on tour, and a good friend of mine, Charlie, who played guitar on that tour, loves surfing. And I'm like, man, the beach is here where you want to surf. The same place, if you want to go see shark diving in the cage.
It's in the same, location.
Yeah.
And have you seen these sharks? They're not like...
They have great whites. Like they're full on. Like it's a problem there.
And then they fly out the water. Now, look, I don't want to give sharks a bad name, okay? Because supposedly, right? They're
docile.
cool, right? So, I know you're cool, but me personally, I'm staying out, man. I'm staying out of the water, man. So
funny, we're talking about the fishing thing. Hassan is one of the few people. You know when people sit and say like you can get mercury poisoning from eating too much fish?
Yeah.
It actually happened.
It happened to you?
Oh man, yeah. Because my wife was right again. She was like, "Hey, you're eating too much fish. And it's got too much mercury in it, and it's not good for you for this reason, that reason, that." I'm come on, here we go.
Get out of here, like man, I'm eating fish.
So in my brilliance, I'm like, I'm gonna go to the doctor without telling my, and I'm gonna, hey doctor, this is what happened. Take my blood, give me the report. I'm gonna go show my wife that I don't have any mercury. Turns out I was Freddie Mercury, man. Turns out
he was like buzzing.
Yeah, man. I was 5 times the limit.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I knew what. When I went to, he's like looking at me like, man, your wife was right. Yeah.
Did you feel anything? Were you?
No, man, I couldn't sing in that pitch of Freddie Mercury. No, physically didn't feel anything. It was just because I was told. And then once I was told, I was like, man, I'd better do something about it. I read up on it. It's not good for you. So I went back every 2-3 weeks, did a test, and it was going down like that because I stopped the fish.
But you were literally eating fish every meal.
Every meal.
That's it.
Yeah. And I was like, I'd go fishing 2-3 times a week, and whatever I'd catch, that's what I'd eat.
But is it in every region? Like if you catch fish in Mexico or South Africa?
I think, look, the mercury, I think mercury's in the water, in the fish. The bigger the fish, the more mercury it has
because it eats other fish.
The higher up the chain it is.
Exactly.
And hamur, not good every day, man.
Yeah.
Once a week max.
That's it's like a documentary I was watching with the whales in Japan.
Yeah.
When there's like a certain region in Japan where they eat a lot of whale. And whales are like ridiculous in mercury. And they had a huge, like a abnormally high number of children being born with deformities.
Oh man.
And it's because these mothers were sitting there eating whale and they were just essentially like jacked up their systems.
Yeah, man. And in a way, yeah, we my wife was right. She was that's at the end of the day.
Lesson of the day.
Yes.
Listen to your wives.
Yes, absolutely.
I always wonder about, with all the fishing that we do globally.
Yeah.
Is it ever going to run out?
Is it ever going to run? It feels like we outnumber the fish, but I guess there's a lot of fish.
I think farming, no? Like, I think farming really kind of skews the number the other way. Like,
Fish farming.
I think, majority of the fish that we're all consuming is, let's say, 60-70% is farmed, no?
Maybe. I don't know the statistics. I love eating them freshly caught. But
obviously.
some species like tuna, get a bit, but it's a huge ocean out there, and the biggest issue is pollution, and it's one of those topics as well that people are like, I remember writing a song 10 years ago, and the person I was working with, the manager, was like, don't write about, global warming. It's so like, it's not cool. And I'm like, what? Yeah, and first of all, I'm not getting into this to be cool.
Yeah.
I like Eddie Vedder and bands that stood up for something, and thanks for the support. But yeah, it's that's the biggest issue. It's pollution. It's plastic in the fish. It's what the fish are eating, all that crapple, and it's not good.
Absolutely,
unfortunately not. I mean, not much news is good these days. So we just sort of have to live with it. I don't know if we just know too much. You know what I'm saying? You're just like, do I really want to know about this? Yes, they're going to bombard you with it. It's going to come through Facebook. It's going to come through YouTube. And eventually,
It's interesting. I would highly advise you read a book called Enlighten Me Now by an author called Steven Pinker.
Okay.
Basically, what he talks about is how much life has improved. And that it's essentially fear mongering. Like it's just clickbaiting. Like the news that we hear, we all have a feeling that things are going downhill, but statistically across all measures, life has gotten better.
Yeah.
So education, health,
Yeah, man.
everything, just safety, less wars, less crime, less, just across the board, all statistics. Just they scare you, right? They just,
Man, people just like to complain.
exactly.
You know, people just want to say something and complain, you know, and oh, this is not right. And then you'll have the other guy, no, that's not right. Oh, man. And now they've got platform after platform after platform to do it. Yeah, enjoy, man.
Too much.
There should be a happy news network.
Huh?
There should be a
It
happy
would, I
news.
guarantee you, it would have the worst ratings ever. No one's interested in seeing happy stuff, man.
It doesn't have to be happy, but
Nobody's interested.
it doesn't have to be negative either.
People just eat up the whole, crime, homicide, riots.
It's
loss
fine,
of
but-
control, near war. That they love that shit.
I don't know. I think if you're going through all this news channels and you get fed up, you're like, I don't want to hear this anymore. It'd be nice to have that option to land on a channel like, today, man from saves whatever.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't even watch the news anymore. I can't do it.
I can't deal with it.
I can't do it.
No way.
So I'll consume what I'm purposefully looking for. You know what I mean? Like, not necessarily that it's gonna skew or it's like self-fulfilling
Because
kind of bias.
it becomes so polarized.
And programmed TV, right?
It is programmed.
I just, there's so much choice now with Netflix or whatever platform you can get into. YouTube, I personally like documentaries, and if there's a really good movie out or a really good series, maybe, then I'll get into it.
Yeah.
But, life, I find life is the actual program,
Sure.
and we all get caught up in all these little, scripts in the movies that we're watching at the time and, whatever it is. But there's just so much going on,
True.
and I think that's the trip, that's what's there. But as you were just saying, it's perspective as well, like if you choose to see all that, and the negativity in the news and whatever, I love to watch news just to see, because I write and I have to get that sort of, I get
Inspiration.
Perspective.
and perspective, what's happening. But I mean, everybody that knows me, I always try, at least these days, to be positive, about things, try to find the positive things. So with all of that happening, if this person's going to complain, that person's going to, but I want to control my happiness.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to get dragged into that or that. And that's where that mindful thing that I was talking about earlier, that's helped me like heaps over the years.
So what is it that you're doing with that? Like,
But I saw that your show the other day. It was great because you were talking about breathing, and I'm like, man, more people should be into that and talk about a positive channel. You could put all of this programming like, look, this is how you meditate, or this is, school that we've saved or whatever. But about breathing, I got into something called mindfulness. The guy that I feel is the mindfulness person is a guy called John Kabat-Zinn. And it's all about, for me, just having, it's not also, meditation isn't a 1 hour thing and then you're sort of in and then out back to the grind. It's a lifestyle as well. So
true.
That first thought you have when you wake up and being able to center yourself. And for me, it's about the breath, just the breath in and out. And he has a line, I can't remember it now. He says, mindfulness is, just being in the moment without judging, and just sort of accepting that this is it. And if you just then focus on the breath in and out and not fighting it, it's incredibly difficult to do because the brain is such an amazing instrument that you start thinking about the bill you didn't do and the meeting tomorrow.
Oh my God, tell me about it.
And the key is to just catch without fighting it. Just catch, okay, that's on my mind. It's fine. I'm back to my breath in and out. And like a muscle, I've been doing it for years. It started through competing. I worked with a coach, and then from there, I do it now before meetings, whatever it is, but it has to start from the morning till, throughout the day.
Yeah.
And you can do it just as simply as, khalas, I'm there, like my body knows to do it.
Yeah.
But when you've got 10 minutes or half an hour to do that and you actually do it, I find it adds so much value to the day, to your body, and I'm sure there's scientific things science generally will explain what the good things that it does to you. But, I actually just feel it, and it's an amazing positive thing.
Definitely.
So mindfulness, John Kabat-Zinn. I can't say it enough. I say it to everybody, I care about, people that, so John Cabot's in,
Yeah.
guys.
It's funny you say that. Just today, I'm told you that I went for my hike. I go to Hatta Mountains.
Beautiful.
I love it there. It's quiet. There's nobody there. You're in between mountains, rocks, and I just go exploring.
Great.
Before I started, I made myself do a 15-minute breath work. So you start off with 3 seconds inhale, 3 seconds hold, 3 seconds exhale, 3 seconds hold. And repeat that for 4 minutes. And then the 11 minutes after that, I do it for 4 seconds. Like you were saying, there are so many thoughts going through my head trying to break that pattern. Once I got over, I think like the 5th, 6th minute, I kind of eased into it. And I felt super light, super happy, super positive. And it was just like better than any Advil, Tylenol, any medication I've ever taken. It was so natural, so peaceful.
It's powerful, man.
And
It
the
really
difficult part, like you were saying, is you touched on a really good point. It's not something that you do once and then that's it, khalas. It's having that mindset throughout the day because it centers you. Because life throws so many things at you, work, personal.
Yeah, a guy cutting you off and all of a sudden you're on a, so I mean, now I don't react to that crapple anymore.
Just breathe.
It's just, and if you can catch yourself and say that.
That's the difficult part.
Yeah, that's when you win.
But it's training.
Yeah. And that's if you do it in the morning, you'll catch yourself better throughout the day. If I rush out of bed in the morning, I've forgotten to sort of set myself up for the day. And I don't know if it's just because I'm 44, but I wish I could meet my 24-year-old self right now. And one thing I'd say is to try this. And it helps so much in whatever you do, in relationships, in discussions, meetings. There's just a clarity. And then you'll be in the meeting and there'd be a moment where things are getting tense. If you can remember and you do that breath again, the words will come, But when you're searching for the words or trying to perfect the meeting, like one thing John Cabot, he said, he's like, when you're in the shower, he goes, I just wish people would just go, I'm in the shower. And that's the beginning of the meditation, just that you're acknowledging I'm here, there's water coming down.
Mindfulness.
As opposed to, I'm going to go that way to work today because I'm a bit late and that, and then I'm going to tell them this for the meeting. It's like, man, get in the car later. But now you're in the shower, and then when you're in the car, you're in the car, not in the meeting.
True.
So catch yourself. And, oh man, there's so many things that just on YouTube from this one, mindfulness that there's so many videos that could help. So for me, they've helped a lot.
It's a very good point. Like, look, I'm big on preparation. I don't think you should eliminate preparation, but like you said, right, and I think it's a skill also you develop through time as you become more mature, is to stop trying to envision and push conversations, whether it's meetings or specific tense environments in a way. Like, be open to the flow of what's happening around you.
That's a very powerful word. Flow there's a thing called flow state. It's when Michael Jordan can just focus, and they find that athletes, when they reach the highest point, it's the ones that could focus and just zone everything out. And they call this thing flow state. Yeah. It's like, for example, these skateboarders and skiers that are doing like say triple flip. Nobody could think it's possible. But the moment the guy got into this flow state and he sort of and does it, then the next week, 4 other guys would do it because
that's it. He said, you can see it's possible. It's possible, exactly.
But this flow state is incredible, and if you read up on that, for anybody who competes, it's such a powerful thing to be able to reach the state where, let's say you're in the Olympics or whatever. That's it. You're now about to run the 100 meters, or you're about to go into the finals of your sport. If you can just get in that moment and give it your best, it's amazing.
Well, this is it. Is that preparation? You do all the things to build up to that point, but at the end, to sit and try to want to force a specific thing, knowing that there's always going to be variables that you can't control. And I think it's that perfect harmony with the situation. And I talk about it purely from my perspective is around, say, work or meetings, or when I was younger, I would go in with a specific outcome in mind. And it would be like trying to push a square in a circle sometimes, right? Because that other person has something in their mind, and you're sitting there and you're like battling to you're trying to get your way and he's trying to get his way.
Yeah.
I find now that I have the ability to take a step back, take a breath, and be able to think on my feet, be more open-minded, listen, and really listen and absorb what they're saying to be able to come and generate maybe a third idea, you know, or a third solution.
Or a hybrid.
A hybrid of it, or you know, a win-win kind of scenario. And I think that's a massive, let's say, improvement in myself. And it's still a work in progress. By no means do I consider myself a completed project. I don't think anyone is, right? Like, it's always something that you continue to develop. But I think that's something, when you say, look back at my 20-year-old self, that would be something that I would tell myself, like, chill, like, relax, take it in.
Breathe, motherfucker.
Breathe, exactly.
As Wim Hof would say.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's that simple. I've worked with the best coaches in the world, and they just meant simplify it.
Yeah.
Simplify it.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, man.
Amazing, guys. Thank you so much, Hassan.
Man, thank you.
It was amazing. The hour just flew by.
Oh, man.
so really appreciate you coming out, you know.
I can't say thank you enough. It's especially in these times, you know, we've been at home. I saw this pop up one day on my, you know, and I was like, wow. And then when you called and said, come over, I didn't even know about what, but we managed to talk about work, business, you know, retail, horses, which hopefully will get you there, music, you know, so hopefully I'll be putting some stuff out and maybe even come here one day. And
well, this is it. We were talking before you came on. I was saying that I wish it was my fault. I should have told Hassan to come with a guitar and he could have played something for us. It would have been really cool.
With the heat these days, you know, I'm scared to put the guitar in the car, you know, so I'm like, but I was playing today. I played a couple of the covers and every day I play, you know, like a few songs. Sometimes I play 10, 15, but sometimes just 6 or so.
Do you play and sing at the same time?
Yeah, man. That used to be a struggle, but
hats off to you, man. I don't know how, like, the brain is an amazing piece of hardware, but to be able to do that.
Bought my first guitar in 94, started playing 2019 together. January 2019, I just said, I'm going to start, and boom, it just started rolling. You know?
It's amazing.
So, man, it's just like, you know, perspective. I just sort of said, you're going to do it. And it happened.
We'll do it. We've got to get Hassan to come
I'm
back.
Here, man.
We'll do it
definitely,
for sure.
Definitely.
As usual, subscribe, tell your friends, like the videos, put your comments, and we'll check you on the flip side. Thank you, Hassan.
Thank you.
Thanks. Namir, Laith, thanks, guys.
Pleasure having you, bro.